Welcome to our FedTalks executive video series. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and we're here with Kristen Summers, Operating Unit Chief Technology Officer at Microsoft Federal. Kristen, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, let me start by asking, now that government can securely run classified processing in Microsoft Azure for government, what new types of capabilities might be available to support their missions that they should be thinking about?
Yeah, thanks. We're really excited about this. So it's really our goal to empower federal missions in innovative, secure, and compliant ways. And we're very focused on innovation. So we have a broad range of commercial tools for classified environments to build new capabilities, to unlock data using AI and machine learning, and to empower collaboration. The classified cloud has a lot of tools available that are really helpful for making an intelligence lifecycle more efficient and getting to its outcomes faster. We have things like Cosmos DB, which is a managed NoSQL database that lets you do analytics over operational data without having to go through a standard ETL process. So you can go directly to getting value out of your data in a streamlined way. Or as another example, the classified cloud has Data Explorer, which is a high-performance big data analytics platform that makes it easy to analyze high volumes of data in near real time. You can analyze structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data across time series. And these are really the kinds of tools that you need for some of the challenges we hear about most frequently. Things like finding the proverbial needle in a haystack and collaborating securely and integrating disparate data from different sources. And I should just mention that, of course, all of this is part of an open ecosystem. That's really central to hybrid and multi-cloud environments, and that's very important to us. So everything is designed to be something that you can integrate with a developer-friendly cloud platform and tools.
Well, given the administration's mandates for agencies to fully embrace zero trust practices, talk a little bit about why it's more possible to trust sensitive workloads to the cloud and multiple clouds.
Yeah, it's a great question. And we really take pride in being trusted and having our cloud be trusted. We have more than 40 years of empowering the mission and those who defend our nation with the most innovative, complete, and secure technology solutions. And that's from unclassified to classified and from cloud to edge. But specifically to talk about our classified cloud, it's of course built to be resilient and secure. It's built for government agencies and their solutions providers in classified environments. It has air-gapped regions with dedicated servers, and it's operated by cleared US citizens. But really, more generally, the things we do are designed with security from the ground up. Every product and platform is built with security as a standard. When we're talking about a classified cloud, of course, there's a lot of security. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a classified cloud, right? But beyond that, Microsoft is constantly expanding our security offerings with sophisticated log analysis and capabilities from our commercial focus on security, because it's incredibly important to us there as well. So we bring leading protection at all levels in a zero trust architecture. And the threat detection applies to internal as well as external threats. When you're looking at mission applications, that kind of protection is really critical.
Well, and with so many federal employees working in remote locations now than ever, talk a little bit about how this Microsoft's dealing with that expanded universe of remote users.
Yeah, absolutely. So in some cases, users can connect directly to the cloud, and that really enables you to be able to access your data from more places and work with it from more places. And then there are some use cases that are going to require going outside the reach of the full cloud, either temporarily or fully. It may be that you have a use case where sometimes you lose some connectivity, right? And you may have other use cases where you simply can't be connected to the cloud, it's separate. And for both of those kinds of cases, you need processing at the edge. And the great news is that Microsoft Azure has a range of edge offerings. So you can pick the one that fits your use case the best and really create an experience with the best continuity possible from the full cloud through those deprived and disconnected environments.
And then lastly, Kristen, you alluded a little earlier to AI. Could talk a little about where you see some of the greatest opportunities for transformational use of AI and machine learning. But at the same time, we know that deep expertise in those areas remains hard to find in government, and it's in high demand. So how can Azure really help with this gap?
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to help with that gap. So you're right. I agree that AI and machine learning hold tremendous transformative power. And we have a range of offerings in Azure to really meet customers where they are. So at one end of that range, and that helps to bridge that gap, right? So at one end of that range, we have cognitive services that have the AI already built in. And so you don't have to be a data scientist. You don't have to know how to build AI or build a machine learning model. You can use that cognitive service that has the AI in it, get the value of that AI, and what you're doing is integrating that with your solution. Then kind of at the next step, you may say, yeah, that almost works for me, but my data or my problem is just a little bit different. And I need to train that cognitive service in order to work in the way it needs to on my data with respect to the things that are a little bit different about that. And so for a number of our cognitive services, you can provide it with your data examples and retrain it, but you don't have to know how to build a model from the beginning. You don't have to go through all of that process. You're just taking something that's there and modifying it for you. Then though, there are going to be cases where you really do want to build a model, right? And we can really lower the barrier to entry to that with auto ML. So some people talk about that as like using AI to do AI, right? So you provide, here's the problem setup that I have, and here's the data I have, and let the machine figure out, here's a good model, here's a good set of parameters, and you can get something that you can go ahead with. And then of course, if you are an expert data scientist or expert machine learning engineer, or you have the kind of problem where you really want to bring all of that expertise to bear, we have a full suite of tools for that. And I just want to say those tools focus not only on building the model, which is really important, right? And building a really good model, but also on operationalizing and maintaining that model. Because if we go back to the start of your question, like what's transformative? There are so many problem sets that it's transformative to address with AI and machine learning. But what's transformative isn't building the model or even proving that it's a great model that solves the problem well. What's transformative ultimately is putting that in a workflow where it changes and affects the way people do their jobs, whether it's taking tasks off their hands so they can focus on harder things, whether it's giving them new insights, whether it's pointing their attention to the right thing, whatever that may be. Where you really get the value is by putting it into operation. And so our tools focus on operating and maintaining those models so that we can really use AI and machine learning to bring more to the mission.
That's certainly the key, is how do we operationalize that? And it's interesting to hear that it sounds like you have an array of approaches and solutions for wherever government agencies are on their AI journey. And appreciate your sort of lining those out for us. Well, Kristen Summers, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to join us here at FedTalks and share some of the kind of latest offerings from Microsoft and how that helps the federal government.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on.